Most hunters think Alaska is where your rifle collection goes to die. The second somebody mentions grizzlies, giant bull moose, and frozen wilderness, people immediately start chasing the biggest magnum they can survive shooting. Suddenly, everybody thinks they need a shoulder-breaking cannon that costs a fortune every time they pull the trigger. But Alaska does not care about hype. A cartridge that looks powerful on paper means nothing if recoil destroys your accuracy when a brown bear explodes out of the brush at 30 yards. Out there, your rifle is survival gear. You need a cartridge that can drop a massive moose across an open valley, crush heavy bone at close range, survive brutal weather, and still give you confidence when the pressure hits hard. So today, we are cutting through the myths to answer one brutal question. What is the single best hunting cartridge for every hunt in Alaska? From classic heavy hitters to long-range magnums, these are the 7 cartridges hunters trust when the stakes become very real. And by the time we reach number 1, you will see why one cartridge stands above the rest for true Alaskan survival. Number 7 is the legendary .308 Winchester. Yeah, some of you are already calling it too weak for Alaska. But here is the reality. The .308 has filled more freezers across North America than almost any modern hunting cartridge ever made. Hunters still trust it because it is accurate, reliable, affordable, and easy to shoot well under pressure. Most setups push a 165 or 180 grain bullet around 2,600 feet per second. It may not have flashy Magnum energy, but inside normal hunting distances, the .308 delivers clean terminal performance with manageable recoil. And that matters. Because a cartridge you can control will always outperform a monster Magnum that makes you flinch. With premium bonded bullets, the .308 creates solid expansion while still penetrating deep through muscle and vital organs. It performs extremely well on caribou, elk, and black bear, especially with proper shot placement. Mechanically, this cartridge is all about efficiency. Its short-action design and consistent powder burn produce stable velocities and predictable trajectories, especially from compact 20-inch hunting rifles. That means dependable accuracy shot after shot. Then comes the wallet test. Compared to Magnum cartridges, .308 ammo is far cheaper and available almost everywhere. You can actually afford to practice regularly, and that confidence matters in the field. But here is the deal breaker. When things become truly dangerous, the .308 starts running out of authority. Against giant coastal brown bears, it simply lacks the heavy bone-crushing penetration and raw stopping power of larger Magnum calibers. Yes, it can kill a grizzly, but in Alaska, can kill and stops immediately are two very different things. Number 6 is the 7mm Remington Magnum. When Alaska opens up into massive valleys, windy mountain ridges, and endless tundra, this cartridge becomes an absolute sniper rifle in the hands of a skilled hunter. The 7mm Rem Mag is built for one thing: reaching out and hitting hard at extreme distance. Most hunters run heavy 160 to 175 grain bullets at nearly 2,900 feet per second. That combination creates a laser-flat trajectory with excellent energy retention far down range, making this caliber a favorite for sheep hunters and anyone hunting wide-open country. And once you see the ballistic performance, it is easy to understand why. Thanks to the high ballistic coefficient of modern 7mm bullets, this cartridge slices through crosswinds incredibly well while maintaining deadly velocity at long range. Even past 400 yards, the bullet still expands aggressively, while penetrating deep into vital organs. That is serious long-range performance. Mechanically, the 7mm Rem Mag gets its speed from a large Magnum case packed with slow-burning powder. The sustained pressure curve maximizes velocity through longer barrels, giving hunters the flat shooting performance that made this cartridge famous worldwide. But there is a price for that speed. This caliber is notoriously hard on barrels. The combination of high velocity and massive powder volume creates intense heat that can wear out rifling much faster than standard cartridges if you shoot frequently. Then comes the real concern for Alaska. When things get close and dangerous, the smaller 7mm bullet diameter starts losing some immediate stopping authority compared to heavier Magnum calibers. Against sheep or caribou, this round is phenomenal. But against a giant brown bear charging through thick brush, many hunters would still want something carrying more frontal area, more mass, and more raw impact force. Number 5 is the brutal old-school hammer, the .45-70 Government. And this is where things start getting serious, because deep inside thick Alaskan alderbrush, where visibility collapses to almost nothing and a grizzly can appear out of nowhere. The .45-70 has earned a reputation as pure stopping power. This cartridge does not care about flashy velocity numbers. It wins through sheer mass. Most heavy hunting loads launch a massive 405-grain hardcast bullet around 1,800 feet per second. And when that giant chunk of lead hits something alive, the impact feels absolutely violent. Unlike modern high-speed magnums that rely heavily on rapid expansion, the .45-70 simply drives forward like a freight train. Wide, flat-nosed bullets crush heavy tissue, smash through thick bone, and keep penetrating deep even after brutal impact. At close range, the terminal performance is devastating. This is exactly why so many bear guides and backcountry hunters still trust the cartridge after more than a century. Mechanically, the brilliance of the .45-70 comes from simplicity. The straight-walled case delivers extremely reliable ignition, while the massive flat-front bullet creates enormous energy transfer immediately on impact. There is no fancy trick here, just heavy lead, deep penetration, and raw authority. And honestly, few cartridges hit with this much intimidation factor inside 100 yards. But now comes the major weakness. Past roughly 150 to 200 yards, the trajectory starts dropping hard. Compared to modern magnums, this thing falls out of the sky like a thrown brick. That makes long shots across open tundra incredibly difficult. So while the .45-70 is phenomenal inside thick brush, it becomes much less practical for wide-open mountain hunting. And here is the real question for you guys watching right now. If you were deep in grizzly country with only one rifle in your hands, would you trust a classic .45-70 lever gun over a modern Magnum bolt action? And more importantly, would you rather have raw, close-range stopping power or flatter, long-range accuracy when your life is on the line? Number 4 is the timeless legend, the .30-06 Springfield. This cartridge has survived world wars, decades of hunting camps, and generations of hunters for one simple reason. It flat out works. Even after all the modern Magnums and ultra-fast long-range cartridges flooding the market, the .30-06 still refuses to disappear. And honestly, Alaska is exactly the kind of place where this old warhorse continues proving why it earned its reputation. The .30-06 is one of the most versatile hunting cartridges ever created. You can run lightweight 150-grain bullets for deer-sized game or step all the way up to heavy 220-grain projectiles, capable of driving deep through massive muscle and bone. That flexibility makes it incredibly effective for everything from caribou to giant bull moose. And when loaded with premium hunting ammunition, the terminal performance is still extremely impressive. Heavy round-nose bullets create deep wound channels while maintaining enough weight to punch through thick tissue without violently fragmenting. It is not flashy. It is not trendy. It is just brutally dependable. Mechanically, one of the biggest advantages of the .30-06 is barrel stability. The standard 1 in 10 twist rate stabilizes an enormous range of bullet weights, giving hunters excellent flexibility without sacrificing accuracy. That is a huge reason this cartridge remained dominant for so many decades. Then comes one of its biggest strengths: affordability. Compared to premium Magnum cartridges, .30-06 ammunition is still relatively cheap and easy to find almost anywhere. You can hunt with it, train with it, and actually afford enough trigger time to master the rifle. But here comes the trade-off. The .30-06 uses a long-action rifle platform, meaning the rifle itself is usually slightly heavier with a longer bolt throw. And when adrenaline hits hard during a dangerous follow-up shot, that longer cycling movement can feel slower compared to compact short-action systems. It is not a deal-breaker, but in Alaska, fractions of a second can suddenly matter a whole lot. Number 3 is the powerhouse .300 Winchester Magnum. This is the cartridge that made long-range hunting explode in popularity across North America. And in Alaska's massive open country, the .300 Win Mag has built a reputation as an absolute monster. When hunters talk about one rifle capable of reaching across canyons, river basins, and endless tundra, this is usually the cartridge entering the conversation. The formula is simple: high velocity, flat trajectory, massive downrange energy. Most hunting loads push a 180 to 190 grain bullet, close to 2,900 feet per second. That kind of speed allows the .300 Win Mag to stay incredibly effective even at distances where many traditional cartridges start running out of steam. And once that bullet impacts, the results are devastating. Modern polymer-tipped hunting bullets expand violently on contact, creating huge wound cavities and massive hydrostatic shock. Even at extended range, the cartridge still carries enough energy to penetrate deep into vital organs on giant game like moose and elk. This is serious long-range authority. Mechanically, the .300 Win Mag achieves this performance through a large Magnum case packed with slow-burning powder. That extra powder capacity is exactly what gives the cartridge its famous velocity and reach. But that power comes with consequences. Recoil from a lightweight hunting rifle can feel brutal, especially during long practice sessions. And if you do not train consistently, the rifle can quickly turn into a flinch machine. Then comes another problem many hunters do not talk about enough. At close range, the .300 Win Mag can hit so violently that it destroys a huge amount of meat, especially on shoulder impacts. On smaller game or short-distance shots, the expansion can become almost excessive. So while this cartridge is phenomenal for long-range hunting across open country, it can sometimes feel like overkill inside thick timber. Still, if your dream hunt involves huge distances and massive animals, few cartridges command respect, like the .300 Winchester Magnum. Number 2 is the king of dangerous game, the .375 Holland and Holland Magnum. This is not just another hunting cartridge. This is the round professional hunters, guides, and dangerous game experts have trusted for over a century when things become genuinely life-threatening. And in Alaska, where a wounded brown bear can turn into a nightmare in seconds, the .375 H&H has earned legendary status for one reason: it hits like a freight train. Most loads launch a massive 300-grain bullet around 2,500 feet per second. That combination of bullet weight and frontal diameter creates unbelievable penetration through thick muscle, heavy bone, and dense tissue. This cartridge is built to stop things that do not want to stop. When a premium bonded or solid bullet impacts, the expansion stays controlled while the projectile keeps driving forward with terrifying momentum. Even on giant brown bears, the .375 H&H is famous for maintaining deep, straight-line penetration through shoulders and into vital organs. That kind of authority changes the entire mindset of a hunter standing in dangerous country. Mechanically, the brilliance of the .375 H&H comes from reliability. Its long, tapered case design feeds incredibly smoothly under harsh conditions, even in freezing temperatures, mud, rain, or dirty field environments. And when your adrenaline is exploding during a dangerous follow-up shot, reliability suddenly matters more than fancy ballistics charts. But now comes the reality check. This cartridge is heavy. The rifles are heavy. The recoil is heavy. And the ammunition is painfully expensive. Carrying a .375 H&H through mountains and backcountry for days at a time can wear a hunter down fast, especially if most of the hunt does not actually involve dangerous game encounters. And for many hunters, it simply becomes too much rifle for everyday use. But here's the question for you guys. If you were tracking a wounded grizzly through thick brush with your heartbeat going crazy, would you rather carry a lighter, flatter shooting rifle or a .375 H&H that could stop almost anything on Earth with one perfect shot? And finally, number one is the unstoppable .338 Winchester Magnum. This is the cartridge that perfectly balances everything Alaska demands from a serious hunting round: power, range, penetration, reliability. The .338 Winchester Magnum dominates because it sits directly between the flat shooting speed of the .300 Winchester Magnum and the crushing stopping force of the .375 H&H. It gives you both worlds in one rifle. Most hunting loads push a heavy 225 or 250 grain bullet around 2,700 feet per second. That combination creates devastating downrange energy while still maintaining excellent penetration on the biggest animals walking North America. And when this cartridge hits, the results are brutal. A premium bonded or partition-style bullet expands aggressively up front, while the rear section keeps driving deep through thick muscle and heavy bone. That means massive internal damage without sacrificing penetration. Whether you are hunting giant bull moose across open tundra or facing the possibility of a grizzly encounter in thick brush, the .338 Win Mag has the raw authority to handle both. That is why so many experienced Alaskan guides trust it as the ultimate do-it-all cartridge. Mechanically, the .338 achieves something incredibly difficult: balance. The powder capacity, bullet weight, and bore diameter work together almost perfectly. It generates tremendous power without pushing chamber pressures into extreme territory, giving hunters impressive velocity while still maintaining excellent consistency and reliability. And surprisingly, for the performance you get, the cartridge remains relatively practical. Yes, recoil is heavy. Yes, ammo is expensive. But compared to ultra-heavy dangerous game calibers, The .338 Winchester Magnum still fits inside a standard-length rifle action, keeping the rifle lighter and easier to carry deep into the backcountry. Most importantly, it avoids the major weaknesses that hurt many other cartridges on this list. It reaches far, hits hard, penetrates deep, and still remains versatile enough for real-world hunting. That is why, for many hunters, the .338 Winchester Magnum is not just another Magnum cartridge. It is the final answer to Alaska. So there you have it. 7 legendary hunting cartridges. 7 completely different philosophies of survival in the Alaskan wilderness. Some hunters will always choose the lightweight precision of the 7mm Rem Mag. Others will trust the old-school authority of the .45-70. And some will never walk into bear country without a .375 H&H in their hands. But when you combine long-range capability, bone-crushing penetration, stopping power, and real-world versatility into one complete package, it is hard to ignore why the .338 Winchester Magnum continues dominating the conversation. Because Alaska is not a place where gear failures get forgiven. Out there, your cartridge is more than a ballistic number on a box. It is confidence. It is survival. And sometimes, it is the only thing standing between you and a very bad day in the wilderness. Now I want to hear from you guys. If you could carry only one hunting cartridge into Alaska for the rest of your life, what would it be, and why? Drop your choice down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe to YouTube Alpha Gun Review for more no-nonsense hunting content, classic rifles, dangerous game cartridges, and the raw truth behind what actually works in the field. Because out here, hype means nothing. Performance is everything.